Climate change. Monday morning coming around. We got Flora, Sheila, and more on this great presentation. Animals as carriers of divine love. It continues May the 2nd from 12 until 1 p.m. right over there at RiverBend Yoga, 100 West 3rd Street. How are we doing today, ladies?
We're fine. We're looking forward to Thursday.
Is it still gloomy out there?
It is. It's just humid right now.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It felt like Florida last night almost, you know? It got a little humid. Well, take me through this. So now we had the first one. How'd the first presentation go?
Well, the first presentation was wonderful. We had 3 guests that came, and then there were 3 students of Eckankar. It's sponsored by Eckankar, The Path of Spiritual Freedom. And we talked about recognizing animals as channels for divine love. And it was very cool because everybody had a story about their pets and then other pets too. So that's the purpose of it, is to really share. And this time we're going to be talking about understanding what animals can teach us. And they're learning too. That's the thing, because animals are soul. And that's the blog we talked about. And that's a really important one. If people can't make it Thursday to the RiverBend Yoga at noon, they could go to the Animals Are Soul blog. And they have, all kinds of different stories from people about how they're carriers of divine love, animals are.
Well, that's really unique. And then and really cool too, and enlightening, because there's so many folks, and we talked about this last time you were both on, is that there's so many folks that have these wonderful stories and comparisons and correlations. And now this time I think it's wonderful because, we're talking about learning and how animals maybe learn from us. And we were just talking before I came on back from the break, and I said, well, he's getting better. He's getting out of his puppy phase. And Flora, you said, well...
You are too.
And that's a good point, though, because I'm learning how to have a dog on my own for the first time. We've had animals forever, but to do it on your own is different. And there's growing pains for both sides of the coin on that. And I think that's a good statement, and a quite honest and accurate one too.
And we're kind of, you don't have to have the book, but The Animals Are Sold too. It's a book by Harold Klemp. He's the teacher, our teacher in Eckankar. And as a student, I just have to read this because I thought this was so beautiful what he said. He said, our relationship with animals is often defined by what we need most to learn ourselves. Pets can teach us a great many things: patience, flexibility, how to live in the moment, how to laugh at ourselves. I love that one. But most of all, they can teach us how to give and receive unconditional love. And then this time we're talking about how we learn, and maybe even we can understand how they have chosen us, as well as we chose them, but they also chose us as soul. And that's an important thing to realize. If there's something we really need to learn, a pet will sometimes be the instrument used by Divine Spirit to help us learn it.
That is wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is really cool. Well, and you hit a great point, because you can always tell an individual that's really got a relationship with their animal, with their pet, whether it's a dog, cat, bird, you name it. You can always tell, because they're somewhat of an enlightened bunch of folks, because they they're smiling, they're walking their animal everywhere, and they talk to her like a human a lot of the times. It's just a relationship,
soul to soul.
But the ones that don't, the ones that kind of are abrasive, maybe their child wanted a dog and they were kind of forced into it. You can tell that they don't laugh at themselves. They don't know how to be patient. They don't know how to do those things. And I completely agree that that's what our animals are teaching us to do, and how to check ourselves at the door before we go out into public acting that way.
It's really reciprocal.
Yeah.
You watch it happen all the time with, like you said, you see people that really love their animals, and it's just reflective. I was with a family yesterday, and they had this beautiful dog, and he's huge, and he's still a puppy, but he doesn't know how big he is. You know? So he's like, blah, 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 all over everybody. But, everybody was very kind to him and understood, yes, you're a puppy, So if we understood that about each other, oh, yeah, Sheila's still a puppy. She's still learning. But, it's just fun to watch people.
It's understandable that spiritually, it's all about consciousness, that energy. Okay, they have a consciousness, we have a consciousness. And being able to realize that and say, oh, you're a puppy. This and have that patience is kind of an upliftment in one's consciousness.
Well, not
Go
to cut
ahead.
you off, but that's a good point too, and something I just kind of stumbled on because, just like in life, if you teach your children that, certain people are bad people or certain professions are bad professions, it stays with them. They don't have that trust, just like if you have a dog and instead of being patient with them, let's say you start screaming and you spank your dog, well, they're going to have some pretty abrasive trust issues when they go and try to do that again, and it's not healthy. And I think it's reciprocal, whenever you're looking at a puppy, a dog, as you are into a child and anybody, a human in that regard, because if you're trained a certain way, it's pretty darn hard to untrain it as years go on. You got to work on it harder.
One of the clues that I have found, soul to soul, is
Yeah.
actually looking in the animal's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking
Yep.
at their eyes, because soul is there in the eyes. And when something's happening, just pause and look at them. Talk to them, like you said, like a human, like you would talk to a human being. But we're soul, all of us. We're living in human bodies. They're living in animal bodies, but they're soul.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
And we all talk with our eyes too.
Yes.
100%. 100%. And
100%.
take me through some of the discussion you had in the first group. Were there some pretty good discussions
There
happening?
it was cool. There were stories about, there was a recognition by one woman. She said, oh, I hadn't thought about my dog. She rescues cats. And she had 5 cats, and this one cat ran out into the street and passed.
Uh-huh.
And she missed that cat. Then she had a stray kitten come. And she had said to me at one time, I think Tucker is my new cat. And I said, that's really possible because animals have that ability, just as soul does, to come back, have relationships with your family. You haven't learned all your lessons, so you're going to learn more lessons.
Right. I completely agree with
So
that.
that was a big one. But then there were fun ones about just how comforting that divine kinship when you're alone and when you're sad or when you're depressed. This animal comes into your world, looks in your eyes, you look in the eyes, and it's almost like they're saying, I love you.
Yeah.
It's all going to be okay.
100%. And as we keep talking about this, on Thursday at RiverBend Yoga from noon until 1 p.m., it's an interactive discussion, and it's when folks come in, do they need to register or anything like that?
No, it's free. They just come in, stay while you can listen. But it's really good when people share their stories, and everybody did share.
We could have probably went on for hours.
Yeah.
Just like here, we do 10 minutes. It's like,
Right, and it's gone.
It goes so
It's
fast.
gone.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I love having you on, because there's so many, it's such a unique perspective, but one that's not unique in its sense. It's unique to hear it the first time, but once you listen and understand it, it's not unique at all. It's thoughts that all of us have in general about, our dog, our animal, our pets. And, I think, and just like we talked about, Eck and the power of Eckankar too, and your experience in it, it all connects in some unique, in some, way and I think it's really beneficial to talk about all of this stuff because it's not really a one size fits all. It's an encompassing body.
It is not a one size fits all.
You're right.
And it is all, the bottom line is love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about self-responsibility too. You have freedom and you have responsibility.
Right.
And we do share the Hugh song. That I think is important for your listeners to understand that it's spelled H-U, and it's for anybody of any religion, faith. You don't even have to have a faith to sing Hugh. It's a higher vibratory word that it basically is a love song. It's the God sound.
Yeah.
It's been around forever. And it's sung like this, Hugh. And you can think it, but it's so important to experiment, to use it the way you want to use it. Mm-hmm. That's the uniqueness, is the ability to really understand we have the answers all inside.
100%. And Flora and Sheila, I am so sorry. I forgot to. Okay. We had a little bit of a scheduling conflict, but you both are always welcome in, and I love chatting with you. And I hope you guys go Thursday from noon until 1 p.m. RiverBend Yoga, 100 West 3rd Street. And the next time you come on, I'll make sure that we have more time to talk. Okay.
Thank you, CJ.
I'm so sorry.
Thank
10:11's the time. We'll take a quick break. And we'll come back with more of our daily show right after
Thank
this.
you.
No
Thank you,
problem. I just
CJ.
love talking to both of you.
I know.